This is E&P Reports, a vodcast from Editor and Publisher magazine, the authoritative voice of news media since 1884, serving newspapers, broadcast, digital, and all forms of news publishing.
And greetings once again, Mike Blinder, publisher, E&P Magazine. As always, we bore the audience first by urging those that are listening on a podcast platform to please particularly follow us. There's some alliteration. Those that are watching on the YouTube channel, please hit that subscribe button below, smash the bell. You'll get an update each and every time we upload this weekly vodcast series we call E&P Reports. Ryan, can you believe I actually used to be a professional disc jockey and I couldn't get that out?
It's A-okay, and it's early in the morning and we're all sober. So, it's okay. A lot of grace. Well,
thank you. My good friend Ryan Dohrn is on the show. Ryan, our tradition now is no longer to read your bio on your website, but ask ChatGPT, the brain of the universe, maybe not forever now that the Chinese are into it, who the hell you are. And ChatGPT said this about you. Ryan Dohrn is an Emmy-winning motivational speaker and sales coach with over 30 years of experience in sales and marketing. You've provided training and guidance to more than 200 companies across 15 industries. You're the founder of Sales Training World 360 Ad Sales, performs a dedicated enhancing sales performance through training and resources. You're the author of Selling Backwards, which I've read, and the creator of 360 Ad Sales System. You're also the CEO of Niche Media. Am I correct, sir?
Yes, sir. That sounds great. Wow, they did a pretty good job. Wow.
Yeah, we're going to let you plug your conference. Everybody has to go to Vegas, right, in April?
That's absolutely. Yep.
But the reason we reached out to you to join the program again was an amazing article in Forbes on fixated price, selling value to clients, fixated on price. It was a wonderful article. God love you. You got amplified in Forbes magazine. And with your permission, I'm going to let my audience stand by and go through this commercial, and we'll talk about it right after this.
This episode of E&P Reports is exclusively sponsored by Blocks Digital, formerly Town News. Even though the name has changed, their commitment to the media industry is as strong as ever. Blocks Digital is now even better positioned to deliver integrated solutions like content management, audience development, advertising revenue, video management, and more. Join the over 2,000 news publishers worldwide that power their ongoing digital transformation with Blocks Digital, serving over 141 million monthly users who view over 6.5 billion pages of content each year. You can trust Blocks Digital to empower you, to connect you at scale with the community you need to reach. Blocks Digital, formerly Town News, now reimagined to help meet the news publishing challenges of tomorrow and beyond. Learn more at blocksdigital.com.
Ryan, in that article, you talked about the challenge of selling value when clients are focused on price. All right, just treat me like I'm a 3-year-old. What's the biggest mistake salespeople make when they're trying to shift that damn conversation?
Well, one of the biggest problems is that we have so much digital to sell. And so because of the digital piece of the puzzle, Mike and everybody, and by the way, thanks, Mike, for having me back on your show. Because of the digital piece of the puzzle, we feel like we always have to be so feature rich in everything we're talking about. And so the way that I explain this is salespeople in today's media world, Mike, are great at selling features. They're not so great at selling the benefit of the feature. So as an example, and a simple example, it would be if I was trying to sell you a washing machine, Mike, I would say this washing machine has a spin cycle. And you're like, great, Ryan. But if I'm a good salesperson, I'm going to say, Mike, this washing machine has a spin cycle. What this means to you is less water in your clothes to save money on your electricity, less shrinkage of your clothes, so you don't have to buy clothes as often. Your clothes are going to last longer. Wow, Mike, don't you want to buy this washing machine? Unfortunately, a lot of sales folks today, they get so fixated on the features, they're not great at bridging over to the benefit or the value that really would come from it. And that applies to software, media, anything, Mike, that we're selling out there.
It was the famous sales coach back in the 20s and 30s, Elmer Wheeler.
I remember that name.
Oh, yeah. Elmer's the one that came up with the expression, don't sell the steak, sell the sizzle.
Exactly.
I mean, and
Yes.
that's what it's all about. I used to say fab,
Right.
feature, advantage, benefit, but I'm
Right.
into that.
Yeah.
But okay, then you bring up a great new acronym. Maybe did you make this up? Cost of inaction,
Yeah.
COI. Is that
Yep.
yours?
Yeah, the cost of inaction is somebody's what will it hurt you? How will it hurt you if you don't react or you don't engage with us? What is the negative that will come from this? And if you don't do that right, then what happens is, and by the way, I don't know if I came up with that or not, but the problem is most people don't know the cost of not working with us. An example of that, Mike, would be I say to advertisers regularly, and I'd love for all of your listeners to steal this. Mr. or Mrs. Advertiser. This is the cost of not engaging, Mr. or Mrs. Advertiser. When you don't advertise, you force people to Google generic things. And when they Google generic things, their chances of finding you are 100% reliant upon Google or Facebook or Instagram or whatever. When you advertise and people know you, they Google you specifically and they don't Google something generically where you have to fight with your customers. So it's a very easy way to explain to them what the cost of inaction is. And when you can get people to understand that, all of a sudden you sell more ads.
So it goes back to the old adage that sales is the solution based or needs based, which we've been trained on for decades and decades.
Right. Right.
Is basically selling loss aversion.
Right. Yeah.
But what I love about what you're saying is you're back to I love it when two old sales well, I'm much older than you. You're a young guy. When two guys get together, we go back to the basics. I mean, Toma, right? I mean,
yes.
Toma is nothing more than remember the old campaign was loss aversion. You were saying to the advertiser, you don't have top of mind awareness, and don't do ads like, "Hey, now's the time to fix up your home." Great, thank you. I'll go to Google and find someone to do it. Right.
Right. Right.
Brand yourself.
Right. Right.
And that's the problem. Don't advertisers sink us into the old, "What's my guarantee? What is my?" I mean, rather than it's hard for a sales rep to sell a branding campaign because it doesn't have instant ROI for the advertiser.
Agreed, agreed. And so much of it, and I'd love again for your folks to just steal this idea. We need a lot more local marketing summits. Every one of our listeners here today and readers, et cetera, of E&P, you need marketing summits in your market. And Mike, it's not that uncommon from what you and I have done in market for years and years. Gather your advertisers together. Now, Mike, you're going to laugh. I'm not suggesting what we used to do, where we'd lock people into a studio in a TV station and make them buy something before we let them leave. I'm not suggesting that.
Well,
what I'm
that was part of it. Yes.
What I am
Lock
suggesting,
the doors.
Yes, don't let them out until they sign a 12-month agreement.
Right.
What I am suggesting, though, Mike, is that because of the lack of education, because technology and ad tech has far outpaced a local advertiser's knowledge. Unfortunately, most local media companies have not brought people together, advertisers together at the local Denny's or at a hotel or whatever, to educate them as to what's occurring in marketing. So what they have to do is advertisers have to become marketing day traders. They have to look every day at their clicks, every day at their likes, every day at a report, because they just don't understand really how marketing works. To your point, the Toma point, I don't say branding anymore because it sounds like I spend money and get nothing. I like to call it brand maintenance. This is building a fence around your brand. It's building a moat around your castle or whatever your circumstance is in that regard. So we need to do a lot more marketing seminars in our markets to help people understand how we really can help them.
You know, when I did those summits, I get to that point to create that fear of loss. I quote Sun Tzu.
Tell me.
Yeah, when you own the hill, build the wall. You know what I mean? Thank God you've got brand identity now, but you're going to have to hold on to that sucker. You know.
Exactly. And we are living in a society, Mike, with tremendous turnover. It used to be like you'd never leave the town you grew up in. Now it's like, how fast are you leaving the town you grew up in? And so we're not living in markets where people stay there for 50 years. It's pretty uncommon.
Right.
We're seeing the millennial age group having a total of 11 different jobs. We are seeing the Zoomers, the Gen Zers, that number has dropped a little bit. They're a little more homebody based, but there's a lot of turnover in markets. So if a dry cleaner said to me, "Hey, Ryan, I've been in this town for 25 years, no need to advertise," my response to them would be, well, look at the CVB and what they're saying across the country, 4% churn in any market. If you're in a military market with a military base, 25 to 30% churn. We have to be prepared for the common objections that advertisers give us. Mike, unfortunately, I find that a lot of reps just aren't prepared to have these conversations.
All right. A good chunk of this audience are small market publishers, which I love. To me,
Me too.
they're the backbone of America. Plus, if I was to invest in a media company, I already did invest in a media company, but if I were to invest in a local news media company as opposed to my B2B publication, I would be doing community. I mean, I'd be going for the small market or the suburban, right?
Right.
Not that I don't love the big guys, but it's just so expensive to cover a large area. Well, these guys have challenges that are massive now, in the sense that cost of journalism, though thank God AI might reduce some of those costs. Okay, I need you to give me that Axios bullet right now out of your brain. Let's help that small market community publisher now. What is, in your brain, the number one lowest hanging fruit thing they could do, switch they could flip, he said, in order to start driving that essential ad revenue they need to support, their local business and make it sustainable?
Great question. Yeah, great question. I think the biggest flip will be stop asking advertisers what they want to do with you. Instead, guide them towards what they need to do with you.
All right.
So we've been trained for years. Here's our buffet, belly up to the buffet. And what do you want from that buffet? Instead, what my very successful small publishers are doing is they go into an advertiser, say a jeweler, and they say, we worked with jewelers before. This is what we would recommend to you. Here are the 4 or 5 things that other jewelers have done with us to be successful. This is what we would recommend and what you need to do with us. Because we're in a world right now where people want to be led. We saw it in the last, we don't need to talk about politics, but we saw it in the last election. I think one of the reasons the vote went the way that it went is people are like, I'm looking for some type of leadership. Somebody do something. Well, advertisers are kind of over their skis in terms of they don't know what to do. The hill is getting really steep and they don't know what to do. And the only way to stop that decline for them is I just need to crash. Like I just need to wipe out and then maybe I can stop and figure this out. We just really need to stop this whole, here's what we've got. What do you want? Here's what we have. And here's what you need to be successful in our market and have the guts to go in and say what we need. The other piece of it though is ask them to support the paper. People will support you. If you don't need an ad, okay, so you don't need an ad. How about if the ad would lead to you supporting what we're doing? Do you believe in community journalism? Do you believe in holding our public officials accountable? Do you believe in us supporting school sports? Yes, great. When you buy an ad from us, you're supporting our mission. Even if you don't need an ad, you don't need it. You've been in this town for 25 years. Please buy an ad to support our mission. Would you support our mission? You'll be amazed at the number of people that support the mission.
So if you were to take over let's say a small market operation today, and would you then be working first on that branding to make sure your audience understood your mission, and make sure that we're telling them like public broadcasting has done for decades and decades and decades? Without us, where would your town be? Is that
100%. So from a subscription perspective, I wouldn't worry about selling subscriptions for content as much as I'd worry about selling subscriptions around, will you support our cause? And then on the advertising side, I'd also change that message to buying ads from us helps your business, but it's also about supporting our mission here in the community. Because it's Mike, it's interesting to me, the number of people that say, I don't need the local paper because I get my news from the internet. Well, that's sort of like saying we don't need farmers because we buy our corn at the store. So if you can get people to really understand, they will support you if you ask for that support. I've got a media group that's in Montana, Utah, Hagedorn Media Group. Great folks and really great folks.
What a great hotel with the best.
Oh, yeah, that indeed as well.
And best wine list in the world at the top of that beautiful hotel on the lake. Yes.
These folks are really fantastic. And one of the things that Anton Koffer led me to guide their CERC development team towards this support-based initiative, as opposed to, do you want to subscribe to get this content? It's more like, do you believe in our cause? If you do, you should subscribe. And well, I don't want the paper. Okay, so do you believe in our mission? Yes. Okay, buy a subscription. We'll give the paper to the local school. Just support our mission. People love to support missions. You know what I mean by a mission, like the
Right,
mission
of
in the
course.
market. And if both ad sales and circulation development and content believe in this, you'll be amazed the youngest amongst us love to support a cause.
All right, the music's starting. We're going to get played off because we're running out of time. Pitch Your Conference, April 23rd through the 25th in Las Vegas. How is this
Yes.
going to go down?
Yeah, we gathered together 350 or so publishers and related salespeople to talk about everything from digital to finding salespeople to growing your business. It's called the Niche Media Conference. Love to have you attend. If you do, use the code E&P and it will drop your price $200.
Wow,
So that's
thank
nichemediaevents.com, nichemediaevents.com. Love to see you in Vegas. And Mike, of course, you and Robin can always come. But yeah, use that code E&P with the ampersand there, and that'll drop your price $200 for all your listeners.
Ryan Dohrn, Emmy-winning Ryan Dohrn, motivational speaker, massively successful sales trainer, author, what else? And good friend, I have to say.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank
known
you.
you for decades. Thanks for your valuable time, valuable advice, and we'll have you back on the show.
My pleasure.